Well. The takeover has ended. And yeah, I kinda did a lot of grinding and I think it took me 5 days to finish every single game, which is very lovely. I also had to help grind for my team. So anyways, the whole event was crazy, so let's start with so a day before the event started, I ended up doing a job application for the 3D crew. If you don't know who the 3D crew is, well, if you check out Connor 3D on YouTube, then you will know. Because he's kinda famous, not gonna lie. He's like your go-to Roblox tutorial YouTuber or whatever, so he's pretty cool. Alright, so here I'm showing what I included in my application. The most important one, I guess, is I would say the game is pain from Metaverse Champions. Because doing those sliding puzzles, I had to actually learn how to do sliding puzzles, and I think it took me a few days to learn. I'm just kidding. Probably only took me a few hours, but yeah. Oh, I guess the leaderboard ones are also important because I placed number 42 in the winter event, and then like I think now it's like 61 in the hatch or something like that. Pretty decent. Chat. Yo, chat. Oh my gosh, chat. Oh my gosh, chat. Whoa, hold on. Chat. First time in the event hub, and Connor 3D. I think we're in. Yo, wait, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Can I just get in, please? Yo, Cruz. Yo, let's go. I'm in, bro. I'm in. 87 out of 100. Okay, we're gonna lock in here. I don't even know if my mic is working. I got a new mic, by the way. Yeah. Anyways, tomorrow the event, I'm gonna be an hour late because yeah, it's a little cooked. But don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll grind it out the whole night. I'll drink like 10 monsters if I have to. So we'll figure it out. See you guys tomorrow. Alright, so before we head on to the games, let's quickly talk about how I'm rating them this time. This time, the games are gonna be based on the time it took me to finish, how much fun was it, in my opinion, and how much effort the game put into the quest. But of course, the most important part was, how much fun was it, and how long did it take me to finish. So, these games are gonna get interesting. Alright, so I was an hour late, but I started on How to Train Your Dragon. You just had to go through a few rings and also do some training courses for the first two badges. But the last badge, you had to beat the Red Death. And yeah, I kinda messed it up like 2 times in a row because I did not know his attack pattern that well, and you get one shot if you get hit. So, but then I locked in on the last try. Oh, but then, the first time I beat it, I forgot to start the challenge again because I didn't know you had to do that, and I got the badge for beating it, but I didn't get the event badge, so I had to do it again. Anyways, this event sucked because the thing, like, it was fun to start with, but it wasn't really fun after. So I would just give it like a 6 out of 10. The event was decent, I guess, because it was pretty original, maybe. Then again, it's How to Train Your Dragon, so I don't know. Natural disaster survival actually put a lot more work in this event than in the previous events. Because, well, at first you only had to survive a few rounds, and you had to spray paint a few times with your spray can, but later on, they made you evade the cops while spraying surfaces, and you had to survive 3 times in a row for the final quest. I think it was actually pretty decent. This whole quest probably deserves like a 6.5 out of 10 though, I think. It's pretty funny how the video I uploaded of Bayside High School is only 3 minutes and 41 seconds long, considering that the whole event took over an hour. Most of that time was filled with tedious tasks. Before I go into the tasks, I have to say that the intro cutscene to the event was pretty good. The noob quest of Bayside High School was target practice. I felt that it took quite a long time to finish, but maybe it's because I'm just bad at the game. The second quest was a tile painter game, where you had to paint all the tiles and beat the other team. Well, they made you paint 1,000 total tiles in one match, which was I think like 14 minutes or something, and you had to win the match. So I did get lucky though with winning with my first match, but yeah, I don't think this was too fun. The next game was King of the Hill, but it wasn't too fun, and it was actually kinda annoying to do the quest. When I first loaded in, there was people just standing in a circle waiting for their times to go up so that they could get the badge. And the round ended before I could get the time requirement needed. So I needed to do another half an hour of just going through the match. And there was just some random people spawning in that would just kill me because they don't understand that you should just stand there and not do anything. Anyways, yeah, that was a nightmare. The last quest was a pretty good boss fight, and I would say it's pretty decent, except for the fact that I loaded into a boss that was almost dying, so I didn't deal enough damage and had to restart the whole thing all over again, and that took like half an hour, so yeah, this event was pretty interesting, I guess. I think overall, the event was pretty unique. I had to, I have to say that. I think I just have to, because they made a whole lobby and like 4 new mini games for the event. So I'll just give it a 7 out of 10. When I first saw that carrying an egg was in the event, I knew that it was going to be the most difficult game, probably. And I think I was right, because even in the easy mode where you were supposed to make it to like halfway across grasslands or something, that took me and my randomly recruited teammate from the Corner 3D Discord. It took us half an hour. Yeah. The next challenge was to reach the end of grasslands and almost the start of desert. But I think it was pretty decent because we finished it in around 3 tries. So I guess we were getting used to the game physics, I guess. I don't know. This next challenge was to reach the cave, or like the beginnings of the cave. And it featured an impossible jump. And, well, the only way for me to do that jump was to, here, let me just show you guys. Honestly, I'm so thankful that the tray somehow caught the end of the jump, because, like, that jump, we were stuck on it for around 2 hours, I would say, so very lovely game indeed. Very lovely event. Anyways, we reached the end of the second to last challenge in record time, like 3 hours. Oh, did I mention that we almost lost our progress right here? Right at this part where you were supposed to drop the egg onto your container or whatever? Yeah, the egg got lodged between like my body and the inner edge, and it was very scary, but at least we got the badge still, so it would have been awesome if that was the end of the challenges, but there was one more to go. And this last one was very, very lovely. Thankfully though, my teammate, I'm just gonna call him I think Aigen or whatever, he clutched up at the end. Because I was almost to my breaking point, but we finally finished the game in like 4 hours. Yeah! When I first saw pressure in the games list for the event, I expected like a super difficult, like, I don't know, like their mega token quest, which was pretty difficult. Anyways, so when I first hopped into the game, the starting cutscene really was. It was so cool.
Greetings, operatives. I'm aware you are here for a pay raise, so I'll keep your briefing short. Following the successful retrieval of Z-2 via the expendable protocol, you have oh so humbly volunteered to be deployed to the Black Side's quarry to deal with an ongoing outbreak of Z-863 that has been interfering with operations since the breach. As you traverse further, you may find that the majority of the infested, or revenants as they're called, are our valuable employees. To be blunt with you, we need you to kill your co-workers so that they can be resurrected, as they are unable to be revived in their current state. In simpler terms, your primary objective is to eliminate as many instances of Z-863-2 as possible. Your secondary objective, once you have dealt with enough revenants, of course, is to locate and neutralize the heart. Fortunately for us, this heart has decided to set up its colony right beneath our skull pulse laser drill. Despite having immediate access to the drill chamber, we first need to clear out all areas of infestation. Previous experiences have made it more than apparent that clearing out these areas after destroying the heart is rather undesirable. The last thing we want is a repeat of the incident on our hands. You'll have to clear each quadrant of revenants. Once a quadrant has been cleared, Navi will guide you to the next one. Good luck.
It's pretty amazing how Pressure just made like a whole storyline just randomly added onto their main game, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we have to kill our own co-workers. That was pretty fun. The second, third challenges were all just killing waves and waves of these like mutant zombies or whatever you want to call it. But the last one, the last section was an insane breakthrough towards different sections of the map with hordes of zombies chasing after you. Relentless. So relentless. I actually messed up my first try when I was soloing it. So I ended up calling my friend Yvvan again. He came back to help, which was pretty nice. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of the event. The only real downside of this event is that in between rounds, you had to spend like maybe 10 to 20 minutes gathering extra bullets so that you had enough for the next wave, or else you would have to just maybe restart the round. It was kinda tedious, but overall, the event was like really good. I think I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Work at a pizza place was very surprising. For instance, the first quest had this. I was so surprised that there were like cutscenes that I was just speechless, you know? Anyways, the first quest had you deliver the pizzas just normally, but the cars were very, very fast for some reason. For the second quest, work at a pizza place in space was so wild. Like, okay, the cars didn't even work, which is lovely. So you had to walk to deliver every single pizza. And of course, the amount of pizzas you had to deliver were increased, so we were loving it, kinda. Now, for the third quest, I honestly didn't know what I was expecting. Well, so now there's lava, and we have to use our water buckets to make places for us to walk on. I mean, at least the cars worked. That was the good part. And of course, the amount of pizzas you had to deliver were increased, so the task became more tedious, but it's fine. For the last quest though, I honestly didn't know I was expecting. The last quest was when tedious officially became annoying. Because Cool Kid could just use admin commands to teleport you to the supplier place like every 2 minutes or so you couldn't even deliver a single pizza in that time, I would say. Also, he would spawn some random holes, and just if you ran over those holes with a car or something, your car would just internally combust. So, yeah, that was lovely. And not to mention the 35 pizzas that you have to deliver. That took us so long to finish. Overall, though, this game was pretty decent. I would love to give it a high rating, and I think I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's good with the cutscenes, but the quests could be made a little bit easier, I would say. After the chaotic work at a pizza place quest, Build a Golem Army was just the right game to calm down and relax. I mean, you just had to defeat some golems, defeat some players, and then invade player bases to defeat their golems as well. I mean, the only issue as well for this is that when you invade a player base, I don't think there's any way to turn off their protective shield. So I just had Egan, my friend from the Discord, he turned off his shield for me so I could defeat his golems, and that was pretty much free points. Oh yeah, the 3D crew also used this to get a ton of points and to get us like really high on the leaderboard, by the way. And I should have used it for my solo crown, but I didn't end up getting the solo crown, which was kind of sad. Anyways, this game deserves like a 5 out of 10 for simplicity, I would say. The next game was Dungeon Quest, and oh boy, I never expected their quests to be so hard. Like, sure, the easy, medium, and pro challenges or whatever, those were fine. But the master, or I guess the extreme challenge, yeah, that was a whole different story. We literally had 3 level 150 plus players on our team at one point, and we still couldn't get past the part with Blackbeard and the yellow whatever lady it was, because they just kept healing each other, and the heals were like, our damage did nothing to them for some reason. I don't know. Oh, did I mention that if you even managed to kill the two, Blackbeard and the yellow whatever, then there was this like massive dragon that had an attack that filled like the entire arena. Man, with my like, I'm pretty sure my account's like only level 23 or something. I'm so cooked. And even like with 3 level 150s, like we got past that point at one point or whatever, or I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but like, I'm just trying to say that holy, we still got destroyed at the dragon, even though we had like 3 level 150 plus players. Anyways, at the end, I don't even know if they nerfed it, but we did manage to beat it, so I guess I got carried, of course, but it was okay, I guess. The event is nothing crazy, honestly. I didn't expect much from them, I would say. But it's Twin Atlas, though, so I feel like they could have put in more work. Anyways, I would give this event like a 4 out of 10 because of how like difficult it is. I never expected Playing Crazy to be in another event, but here we are. Their hatch event was pretty easy, with the egg being on the floating island, so I thought the quest this time would also be easy. I was wrong. The quests sounded easy, because you had to do laps with 3 vehicles. The boat section was slightly difficult to control, but I made it through. The plane controls are really bad, and I was so frustrated with every minute. But I made it through. The monster truck was the ultimate nightmare challenge, since my truck got stuck between the train tracks that you were supposed to jump over. I had to walk through every checkpoint for 5 to 10 minutes. Then I tried really hard to dislodge the truck because I got bored. And I finally did it, thank god, to complete the challenge. Anyways, Playing Crazy did a decently unique challenge, but it was very tedious, so I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. Not gonna lie, I was expecting great things from Arsenal yet again, but this time they really fumbled the bag. The quests were to get kills and headshots without dying, but they still counted even though I died several times. The last quest was to win a game, and that seemed pretty unfair because I was pretty bad at FPS games, but I server hopped with an alt and found an empty server to do the challenge. They really just fumbled with the event, honestly. 3 out of 10. Something evil will happen had a metal Robux quest before, so I had experienced the game already. However, their takeover quests were far more difficult than anything I had imagined. The first quest was to collect 10 hats from givers, nothing too crazy. The next quest was to collect 25 spray paint spots by standing close to them, which was fairly easy. The third quest was to survive until difficulty 8, which took me and Aegon took over an hour to do. Yeah, lovely quest. The last quest was to defeat their brand new Doomspire boss, which you needed to collect 40 spray paints without dying to spawn. That was painful. We spent the entire night, then a few more hours in the morning to get that badge done. And throughout all that time, we only got to the boss twice. We beat it on the second try, but still. It was so RNG based that I don't even know if it was fun anymore. I guess the boss fight was cool though. Anyways, I'm still giving it a 6 out of 10 for the new lobby and boss. I've never played Dig before, but it seems like a game that is similar to Fish. Pretty interesting. Anyways, the first quest was to grind for the new toy hammer shovel and dig 15 times, which was pretty tedious in my opinion. Then you had to play whack-a-mole 5 times and dig 30 more times, which is just lovely. I love it when quests are tedious and boring. The third quest required you to defeat a brand new dungeon made for the event. It sounds cool, but honestly, it was also boring after defeating the same enemies over and over. And, well, I made it to the end in 15, no, 17 minutes actually. I made it to the end in like 17 minutes, and pretty average dungeon, nothing too special. I think I'll just give the game like a 6 out of 10. When I was playing Dig, I also saw Dig the Backyard, so naturally, I decided to play it as my next game. The first few quests were not anything special, you just had to dig 20 meters, sell ores 25 times, and kill zombie spawners 5 times. I do want to mention though that selling 25 ores later became a 3D crew grind strat that got nerfed pretty quickly. The zombie spawners also were a little annoying since the zombies would disrupt your spawner by breaking and crowding your screen. Anyways, the last quest was to deal some damage to the boss. Where is the boss, you might ask? Well, you have to dig over 2,100 meters. Very lovely game indeed. whole thing took like 2 hours because I accidentally softlocked myself in my first game. If you didn't upgrade your jetpack enough, you would not be able to get out of holes. Lovely. I also defeated the boss for some reason since I was so annoyed at the game. Pretty sure that all of the content was already in the main game anyways, so I'm gonna give the game like a 4 out of 10. Remember how I said that dig reminded me of fish? Well, that's why I decided to do it for my next game. The first quest was simple enough to catch 15 fish with the starter rod. I was kinda sad that I couldn't use my OP rods though. The second rod was to catch 40 fish with the new experimental rod. So boring. I learned to multitask by watching anime on the side, and it still took a while to finish. For the third quest, I had to use the experimental rod again to make 50 perfect catches. So now I had to lock in instead of watching anime. Man, this game is so evil. The last quest was to use 50 bait, so I just ended up using my champion's rod with Hasty's enchant, or whatever you want to call it, the speed enchant. Overall, I think the event was pretty mid, but I guess I did get a new rod in the process, so I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Pixel Blade was supposed to be chill. It was supposed to be a game that I could relax in. I ended up having the most stressful time of my life. The quests altogether were to basically beat the entirety of their new challenge mode, with 30 waves total. The enemies were not too hard until you reached the fireball mages. They were so annoying to deal with. Their shots also became homing shots after like wave 20. I died once on wave 30, which was the last wave, because of an accident, so I was very tilted at that point. With enough mushroom helpers and good weapons, I did finally manage to beat the quest in around an hour and a half. Lovely quest. So lovely. I mean, at least it's brand new, I think. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Regret of Raiders quest made me regret life. Haha, funny joke. Seriously though, I'm pretty sure they just tried to copy the Doors ranked mode. I was trying to finish the event quickly after what happened with Pixel Blade, so I recruited Aegon once again. I survived 5 floors for the first quest, eliminated 2 players for the second, and eliminated 3 more for the third. The last one required you to get first without healing, and holy moly, that was very difficult to do. Normal players would immediately buy heals if you got low, and unlike Doors, the vending machines guaranteed some sort of healing item at the end of each floor. I ended up finishing it with 3 other alts because I didn't want to suffer anymore. Overall, this game had some interesting things I guess for their event, so Regreterator deserves a 6.5 out of 10. The Slap Battles quest wasn't necessarily fun, but it was pretty funny at the end. At the start, you had to paint some tiles, and painting tiles was kind of boring. I just used the painter ability or whatever. And for the second quest, you had to win 2 games, which was kind of annoying when your teammates stop doing stuff for some reason sometimes. I don't even know what my teammates are doing. My randoms are cooked. Anyways, the last quest was where the funny thing happened, because I had to win a game of the Slap Battles Championship, and for some reason, it ended as as my team having 3 players versus I think 2 players on the other team, and then 1 player on the remaining team. So it was a 3v2v1, which was very cooked. But hey, I won, so doesn't matter. I think the quest was pretty unique, I guess, and you get like a glove for winning, I think. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. The Doors ranked mode is back. Wow. Anyways, the quests were to just earn points and get eliminations. The last quest was to win without hiding, which is very interesting. And it turns out you could use alts to cheese it, and you could have private lobbies where only your friends could join, so easy grinding, easy points. But then they nerfed it, so I don't know. They nerfed it to the point where there was a cooldown and then you couldn't really grind anymore because you couldn't like earn points sometimes even if you get the quest done. It was a big nerf anyways. Anyways, yeah, Doors ranked mode came back. Pretty much that's the whole thing. Nothing too special. There were some new items, I guess, like the nanner and the boxing glove, but that's about it. Overall, I would give this event like a 6 out of 10. My Little Pony roleplay was quite an interesting experience. For the first quest, you had to vote on some people, pretty simple. Second quest, you had to receive some votes, which was also pretty simple. Honestly, though, for the third quest to win 3 games, I just brought in like 3 of my alts because I don't know, makes things simple for me and I don't have to worry about it. This was also a good grind strat for the 3D crew, especially since another fashion game that was in the event, when their quest was deleted, this game was the game to go for points. I don't know. This game's pretty silly. I'll just give it. Well, it's just playing the game, so I'll just give it like a 5 out of 10. Nah, 4.5 out of 10. The Barry's Prison Run event could be seen as pretty difficult, but I've beaten the Barry's Prison Run obby like a billion times by now, so I didn't think it was that difficult. First quest was to collect a few donuts, and later on this actually also became a 3D Gru grind strat because the donuts were pretty easy to get and you only needed 5 for easy points. Only when there wasn't a cooldown anyways. Anyways, for the second quest, you had to take a sword and go take out the knight for some reason. I don't really know why, but it was pretty interesting. Third quest, you beat the game in under like 12 minutes or something, pretty easy. And the fourth quest, of course, you beat the game under like 10 minutes, maybe? I don't remember. But yeah, I think it was under 10 minutes and you couldn't get caught by Barry, which no, it wasn't too difficult for me. But if it was for like some random iPad kid, then I would say they're gonna suffer. So I feel like this event wasn't really made towards just little kids. Anyways, I guess the sword part was pretty unique, so I'll just give it like a 5.5 out of 10 overall for the event. The quests and creatures of Sonaria were actually kind of funny. I mean, okay, the first quest was to just get some food and whatever, and that was nothing too special. But the second quest, you had to bite 18 different random like creatures or NPCs around the map. That was hilarious. And honestly, I had a lot of fun doing that for some reason, even though I was just playing the game. The third quest, you had to complete this random like shrine thing by just delivering it food, and there was an infinite food source nearby if you were a vegetarian. So of course, the 3D crew ended up grinding that as well. It was pretty funny, and I think the quests were decent, even though you were just playing the game. So I guess I'll just give this maybe a 5.5 out of 10 for the. I don't even know if it's effort, but yeah. Weird Gun Game really tested my patience and skill. In the first quest, you had to get 30 kills, which was fairly easy. It wasn't anything too crazy, and you could use the starter gun and it would count towards the quest, so that was good. In the second quest, you had to win 2 matches, which let your teammates carry and you're all good. For the third quest, you had to get headshots, which were kinda annoying to do, but I got the hang of it after a while, so it wasn't anything too crazy. The fourth quest, though, to get a 10 kill streak with a weapon made out of 6 different gun parts. Man, that was annoying. Like, even making the gun took me a solid 5 to 10 minutes because I just didn't know what parts to add. And, like, some parts just turned your gun into a sniper, apparently, and I don't even know what that means. So, and yeah, the 10 win streak, I've gone 9 win streak like several times, and I was on the verge of losing my sanity when I finally got this. After getting that 10 win streak, I was literally spinning with joy because it's been literally, I think, almost 2 hours of trying to get that win streak. Something like that. Anyways, the game, I feel like it's just playing the game, so it's nothing really special. There's nothing really special, I don't think, about the quest. So I will give it like a 4.5 out of 10 because the difficulty is actually insane. Dress to Impress was really to just play the game yet again. The quests were to just vote on players, play around from start to finish, get on the podium twice in a row, and then get on a podium by only wearing clothes in the last 30 seconds of the game. That last quest became another grind strat for the 3D crew towards the end of the event because each round was around 6 minutes and there was a cooldown for the quest for about like 5 minutes. So every round you were guaranteed points as long as you put a bunch of ults in a server and you just voted on each other every single time. It was actually very, very good. Yeah. Anyways, the quest is just playing the game though, so honestly, 5 out of 10. I had wanted to get it over with, so Boomstick Football was next. When I got into the game, I couldn't even open the quest menu! Yay! I had to spam click random keys on my keyboard until I found that T opened it up. Anyways, it was just to play the game mostly for the quests. You had to make tackles, take the ball from people, uh, score touchdowns. Apparently, I had to score 3 touchdowns, which was very lovely. Because it said you kick 3 field goals or score a touchdown, but it turns out you had to score 3 touchdowns. So, very good game indeed. Nothing much to say, it's just playing the game still, so 5. Nah, actually, it's football though. Football games are kind of 4.5 out of 10. When I joined TDX for the first time, I got invited to do the nightmare mode of the event immediately for some reason, and we got cooked. Anyways, I went back to the normal mode to get the first 3 challenges done, and that was very easy for some reason. I don't even know why. But anyways, yeah, other than that, the nightmare mode, you got presets, which was pretty good, and it took me like 3 tries, so in total I think the whole event took like an hour and a half maybe. Nightmare mode, I just spammed like gold jugs and they actually carried. Yo! And an artillery. The singular artillery was pretty good with splash damage, so that was good. Overall though, I think the event was actually decently hard, but not like super easy to the point where like iPad kids could finish it. So yeah, I think it was decent. It was also brand new, so I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. I heard that the Untitled Boxing Game quests were like reworked several times, but when I got there, all I had to do was land an ultimate attack for the first quest, get some knockouts for the second quest, and do a 3-0 finish, which I did with an alt account for the third quest. All those quests were chill. But the last quest, well, you had to go through Bingus's backstory, and here is what happened in the first part. I found that it was really funny how the takeover, like the words, were just randomly there on the screen and it was just completely black after. I honestly don't know what's going on there. Anyways, for the first part of the last quest, Bingus had to fight his, like this random guy that he saw off the side of the street. I honestly have no idea. So, yeah, here's the fight. and me winning. Alright, now I just want to say that this next, like, cowboy man, it took me almost an hour to beat him. He literally has, like, ultra instinct or something. He probably belongs in the Naruto anime or something. I don't even know. But, like, he could dodge all of my moves, and I could barely hit him. It's actually insane. I barely won, by the way, because I landed an ultimate on him, luckily. But, yeah, here's the ending.
I could be the one you talk to when you're feeling down. I could be the one you run to when the moon hits the ground. I can say what I'm feeling, but the words just don't come out. If you ever feel lonely, girl, just know I'll come around. 'Cause I've traveled so far just to get to where you are. And I know that you're broken, but that makes you who you are. So pick up the pieces and show me you.
Alright, so for this last boss fight, you guys might be familiar with the Willie and Afton saying, "I always come back." Well, this guy was literally that. Oh yeah, by the way, this took like 30 minutes to beat because I was pretty bad and this guy had like Ultra Instinct as well. The AI level is like insane, by the way. Anyways, this kid, he has like 10 billion phases or something. Like every time he dies, he just gets up like it's nothing. After the third knockout, I thought he was like, dead, but he came back. He literally just always come back. I don't know what to say, bruh. Anyways, I mean, here's the ending.
Mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling. I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. 'Cause what I've been dreaming is giving you my paradise.
I'm actually on the fence about this event because I don't know if I should rate it high or if I should rate it low because like it was so difficult. Anyways, I think I'll be generous though and give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's pretty good. After the chaos that was Untitled Boxing Game, Gym Star Simulator was so relaxing. I mean, all I had to do was just train some weights, enter this contest that I realized you could skip and stuff, and then train some weights, and then do some random combos. I mean, okay, the last quest though, getting 25x combo 4 times, That was just stupid. Why would they add that? I mean, the combos were not hard, but like, if you messed it up at like 22x combo, then you're cooked. Anyways, the quest was easy, so, and the game was relaxing after that tough quest from before, so I'll give it like a 5 out of 10. Yeah. I thought musical chairs was gonna be easy and relaxing. I really did. Because at the start, you only had to play a few rounds and then win a few games, but then the bosses came. Okay, before I talk about the bosses though, the cutscene for them was pretty cool. Now, even though the cutscene was really cool, the boss fight was really annoying. Because the boss literally had one-shot moves for everything, and even if you dashed, you couldn't dodge them. And for Nightmare mode, it had 3 phases instead of 2, which is absolutely insane, but let's not talk about that. Anyways, the boss fights, they took ages. I think the normal mode took only like 18 minutes or so, I'm guessing. And the Nightmare mode took like close to 45 minutes, which is just lovely. I also had a hacker in my game for some reason. I don't even know how he got there in the first place, but anyways, here is the ending. Overall though, I think this game deserves a 5.5 out of 10. They did pretty good in the hatch event as well, so I do want to give them some credit where it's due. But like, the boss fight just takes too long. Savannah Life had a whole new sub-area for their quests, which was pretty decent. The first quest was to deal 3000 damage, but the issue is, you needed to get an animal that could deal a ton of damage. Because if you don't have the right animal equipped, you can only deal like, I don't know, 60 damage per hit, and it takes ages to finish. Anyways, soon enough I did finish it. The second quest was to get some kills, which, sure, that was fine. Except for the fact that there was like a hacker or something in my server that could like auto latch onto people and just suck their HP. I don't know. Third quest was to kill 6 different animal species, which is okay, I guess. It wasn't anything too special. I put a few ults in just to spawn some different animals. That was pretty decent. Fourth quest though was a nightmare, cause yeah, getting a 4 kill streak? What were they thinking? Cause if everyone's the same animal, how are you supposed to kill them? Anyways, yeah, I just used, I think, like I don't know, like a rhino or something, dealing good damage, and got the kills, I guess. It wasn't too fun, because no one was cooperating, so... Anyways, I'll give the quest a 5 out of 10, because it was very, very sad. Tower defense was pretty easy, because I could use all my good towers. Well, I would say that if they actually let you use them, because if you didn't use the event presets, there was like a 20% chance that you didn't get the badge when you won the game, which is very, very cooked. I don't even know why they let you use your own like what let you use your own loadout, which is, I don't know. But like, I guess the last difficulty was pretty good because there was the jailing towers modifier or whatever. It was very annoying and RNG based, but I beat it first try with a preset loadout, of course, because I couldn't use my own like accelerators and stuff. It's fine, whatever. I think the event was decent, but definitely difficult if you were like new to the game, I guess. So I would give it like a I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. Murders versus Sheriff's duels would have been super annoying if I didn't have a really good teammate. For the first few quests, I could use alt accounts for them because you just needed to get MVP in a match. Actually, no, that was a global match, so I still needed to use my actual account. But the first quest was to get a kill with a knife, a gun, and with like a melee knife as well in one match, which I did with alt accounts, easy. Second match, yeah, I had to get MVP in a global match. That was very difficult, but sure. Third match though, you had to win 3 matches in a row. So I kind of found a random teammate that ended up being really good at the game. W Roxy, by the way, she kind of carried. I'm assuming it's a she, not sure. Anyways, I think the game was just, the quest wasn't anything too special, so I'll just give it a 4.5 out of 10. Dragon Adventures was really nothing special. For the first quest, you had to finish with some like level up XP thing, and that took ages to do, which is lovely. Second quest, you had to find some dragon eggs, which sure, I guess it wasn't anything special though. Third quest, you had to find more dragon eggs, and then you do more of the whatever thing. I don't even remember. It wasn't very memorable. It's just playing the game. Fourth quest, you had to defeat 4 world bosses. I thought there was a boss cooldown, so that's why I server hopped to different worlds to fight the bosses, and it wasn't anything special. However, the fighting bosses part, since there wasn't actually a cooldown, the 3D crew actually used it on the last day of grinding just for like getting those last minute points before we reached the end of the event. So that was very, very good, I guess. Anyways, the quests weren't very memorable, so I would just give it a 4.5 out of 10. Build with Friends had a pretty unique quest that I've never seen before, which I guess is good. But anyways, so the first quest was to build a rubber ducky. That ducky was very easy. Good thing it was a noob quest. Second quest was to build a lighthouse, and that was when I wished that you could like, get some flying abilities like in Minecraft or something. I don't know. I've never played Minecraft before, so I have no idea. Anyways, the third quest, building the happy house or whatever, that took ages, bro. Like, I didn't even. Oh, I don't know, bro. It was very cooked because that house was massive and I didn't really want to copy it, but I had to for the quest. But then, the tree. The tree was actually, I would say, easier than the house because like it felt like there was less blocks that you had to place. There was just like a set pattern that you had to follow, and if you followed the pattern good, then you could finish it in like 40 minutes. Yeah, very lovely quest indeed. But it was unique, so I guess I'll give it. I think this game, maybe a 6 out of 10 would be good. My fishing pier, literally, you just fish and you buy bait, and then depending on what bait you buy, you just finish the quest. There is really nothing special about it, so I don't know what to say. The quest was pretty bad, I guess. Not gonna lie, this is probably a 3 out of 10. Ultimate Mining Tycoon felt like a Minecraft dream or something. I don't even know. The first quest was to sell, or no, first quest was to mine 100 seconds worth of ores or whatever. I don't know why 100 seconds, but sure, that's random. The second quest was to sell some chalk, which sure, whatever. Third quest was to craft these like paint spray can thingies, but in order to do that, you needed to make a giant like conveyor contraption thing with two of the event like machines, and you had to have like three things that you feed like ores and whatever into. I actually made my contraption pretty fast in like 20 minutes, which is pretty good. And then the fourth quest, you just had to collect a bunch of different colors for it. There was only 6 colors, so it wasn't too bad. I think the last quest as well was grindable for the 3D crew, but I'm not sure if anyone actually went for it because of how like tedious I would say it is to get the chalk. But yeah, I mean the game though I think did a pretty unique quest, so I do really want to just give it like a 6 out of 10. The tennis zero quest was supposedly like cool and easy, but I decided that I didn't really want to grind it, so I just used some alts. Because there was just one player in my server that was like super good at the game and was just crushing everyone. But basically, you just had to like get a few hits, like actually a ton of hits, I would say. You had to paint the court a few times, use your like flow ability, which just turns your side into like a electro net, I guess, that bounces the ball for you. I don't know. And then the last one was to just win a game a few times, which whatever, I guess. The game honestly is pretty cool. The game mode that they added though, I don't know. It was okay. I would give it like a 5.5 out of 10, I guess. Capybara Evolution was a game that just slowly made me lose my sanity. The reason was that like the servers or lobbies that you make for the new event quest, it's like a dungeon type thing, but like no one would join your lobbies, which is crazy. And even if you join someone else's lobby, they don't start the game. I don't know what's going on with the people in that game, but they're just like away from their computer for some reason. So in the end, I had to grind all of the levels from easy to extreme with alts, and it worked out because doesn't matter what like level your alts are, the bosses and stuff only hit a percentage of your HP every time. So you can just swap them out, get them healed, and swap them back in with someone else, and then you just keep doing that over and over for the win. The quests weren't that fun, and the bosses weren't even that good. I mean, the skateboarding capybara was pretty funny, I guess, but the amount of HP was absurd. Anyways, I think the event is unique though, but like, I just can't give it anything higher than a 5 out of 10. Did I hear the beginnings of sad music when like this next game's intro screen showed up? Well, there's a reason for that. So for Superstar Racers, the first quest was to collect 75 gems. Nothing special. Second quest was to beat a map. I could do it. Third quest was to beat all the time trials in the lobby. I mean, easy mode, sure. Medium mode, sure. Hard mode, 4 hours to beat this stupid mode. Oh my gosh, I wish I was better at these like Mario type games, but I'm not. So yeah, that took 4 hours. The last quest, beat a second lap. What does that even mean? Oh, so at the end of every match, you have to press second lap and you have to beat it? That's insane. Oh, but it only took me an hour though, I guess. Nah, okay. This game, literally, I was gonna give up on it. I was seriously going to give up on it. The hard time trial was very like annoying. It got on my nerves like several times. I was so ready to give up. I was so ready. But I did it somehow. Thank goodness. I actually did it. My hands were like cramping like crazy. I was about to go into like a coma or something. Yeah, no, it was not fun. This game, you're just playing the game mostly, I think. They maybe like I'm pretty sure the time trials, yeah, it was already in the game. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I think this game just, yeah, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10. That's all I can say. I'm speechless.
Oh, I got lost
Not gonna lie,
way
when I played Red Cliff City Roleplay next, I thought I was gonna relax finally. I was gonna not have to worry about a stupid quest that's tedious and takes like a ton of time anymore. Well, I was wrong. Well, okay, for the normal quest though, you only had to deliver a few things, so that was pretty chill. But then the bad stuff happened for the next quest where you had to deliver like 40 things. Sure, very lovely. I love you, game. And then the third quest where you had to deliver 96 things. Man, why couldn't they do 6-9? They did 96 instead. Why? Just why? Also, who cares about delivering to a bunker, or delivering to a lighthouse, or delivering to a cave, or delivering to a random ship in the middle of the ocean, or delivering to a college dorm? I don't care. I just want my badge. So can you just let me do an easy quest that doesn't take 40 whole minutes? Yeah, no. This game, I think this game's not as bad as Superstar Racers, but I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10 for it being such an evil quest.
in the dark of night.
SpongeBob Tower Defense, for some reason, was way more relaxing than Red Cliff City Roleplay. I don't even know how. But basically, all you had to do was like survive 4 different waves, or like 4 different like trials or waves or campaigns or whatever. I don't even know. But basically, you just had to save for like the most expensive troop, and like that thing would just carry you for the entire game. It was so chill. I could just sit here and like watch anime or something, and like I wouldn't have to worry about a thing. And I'm pretty sure there was a storyline going on, but not quite sure what was going on. So, and oh yeah, for the fourth like quest, there was meteors that constantly rained down on you, which was kind of annoying if you were trying to upgrade your troops and stuff, because it would kick you out of the UI. But like, yeah, at the end I just stood there and let it rain down on me all it wanted, because I didn't really care, because I was gonna win anyways. Anyways, it was pretty chill. So I guess SpongeBob Tower Defense, I would give it a 5.5 out of 10 for the new content.
Lost my best friend to 23.
The survival game actually had a decent quest. At first, I thought it was going to be really hard because you had to go through all these waves of bosses, and your weapons were not even that good, and the bosses had a lot of. I guess the waves actually had a lot of like archer guys that would just snipe you over and over. However, I realized at the end that you just had to choose one class of weapon over and over, and they would just give you good weapons that were like better versions for every round you defeat, which is better than just having like a bow, an arrow, or a spear and a sword or whatever. So I just chose the spear every single time, and it worked out because at the end I got like a dark steel Atlantean spear, and it like 3-shot everything, which is, yeah, it was okay. And also, yeah, the boss was a weird kraken tentacle thing, which is pretty interesting. And I don't know, nothing much to say about that. Oh, for hard mode though, with the weird skull chasing you, pretty annoying. But I think the difficulty was good for the game. So overall, I think I did like the game a lot. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Horse life was pretty tedious. For the first quest, you had to tame 20 horses, which wasn't anything too bad. But then the second quest, you had to complete this training course 20 or so, no, 12 times actually. But for parts of the course, your horse couldn't gallop, and you had to make it like do some like different speeds for some reason. I don't even know why they did that. I think it was already part of the game though, so I guess nothing special about the quest as well. Third quest, you had to tame 6 different types of horses, which took me a while because I had to like run across the entirety of the game just looking for random horses to tame. And I think that took close to 40 minutes, which wasn't too fun. For the last quest, you had to finish some like bonding tasks that your horse would give you, and it's literally just a waiting game. You wait next to your horse until it says it needs like this specific type of food, and you just give it to him for 10 times. Stupid. Anyways, yeah, the quest was just playing the game, nothing too special, and I think I didn't really enjoy it, so I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. Easiest game ever was actually pretty decent. The first quest was to get a few endings in the main game, which, man, nothing special. Second quest was to complete and get a few more endings in the new, like, skateboard area, which I think was pretty cool. And I think the endings were relatively easy to understand and get as well, so. Also, the third quest, you had to finish this, like, gold medal challenge 3 times, but it was the same challenges every time though, so I guess it did get repetitive after like the second attempt, I guess. The third try though, you get, or no, the third quest actually, you get to activate extreme mode, which turns the whole lobby, like the skateboard area is all like, I don't know, it's just all corrupted or something, I'm guessing. There's just like constant wind that's just pushing you towards one direction. And I think one of the harder endings to get for that was theft, which I had to get in the elevator for that, but getting in the elevator is not easy when the wind changes and you have to like try and press the elevator button. But yeah, after that, the extreme mode, you also could get endings in the main game as well with the modifier on for the extreme mode. So everything went well, I guess. The game overall did a decent job with the new area and stuff, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Build an island was just kinda stupid? I don't know. The quests were to just collect these paint buckets on this new like event island. But like the paints, they weren't anything special and it wasn't for anything. They just wanted us to collect paint for no apparent reason. And the amount of paint you had to collect increased over time as well, which was kinda annoying. I don't know. The quest wasn't anything too special to talk about. So I guess I'll just give it a 4 out of 10. Because it was also tedious. Not gonna lie, I haven't heard from Dead Rails in a long time. So it was pretty good to revisit the game. However, the quests were nothing special. You had to survive a night, kill a few zombies with shovels, get like 10,000 kilometers, and straight up just beat the game. Wow. Just playing the game. What an amazing quest. I mean, man, only if they put like more effort into the game, I would be more satisfied. But I guess it was good to revisit Dead Rails. I don't know, the quests weren't anything too special. I think beating the game made it worse because beating the game takes around 40 minutes to an hour. So, and that's assuming you get good RNG. So, I'll give this a 4.5 out of 10. When I first saw Tower of Hell's quest, I was kind of scared because it looked like the Pro Tower and there was 3 spray paints I had to collect along the way. However, it turns out those were checkpoints. Yay! The game wasn't anything too fun. You just kind of collect the spray paints and you spray paint your name and that was pretty much it. Yo! I don't know what to say about this quest, but I'll just give it a 5 out of 10. The quest in Super League Soccer was pretty average. It was to just grab hold of the ball a few times, get some assists, and score 10 goals. When I was first playing the game, the Extreme Quest mode was not added yet. which was to get 5 bicycle kicks. After I had already 100% the entire event, I checked the badge list and realized that I was missing one. Cause they added the new final quest. The 5 bicycle kicks took around 7 minutes in a small server, so technically I didn't finish the entire event until the very last day. I'm still going to say that I did it though. Hehehe ha. Oh yeah, the game is getting a 5 out of 10. World 0 was supposed to be easy, since I was level 150 in the game. However, I started to struggle with each increasing difficulty in the new event map. The ludicrous mode was especially difficult, and even though I tried several different strats, I still ended up losing. That was when I found out that the attacks with lingering effects and damage were not level capped. I just ended up using Elementalist to finish the last level with only slightly difficult strats or whatever. Especially during the last boombox section, where you had to protect the boombox from a crab boss or whatever. That was very, very difficult, and I ended up losing a few runs to that. Overall though, I think the map was well made, but it was kind of repetitive, so in the end... Oh yeah, also the ludicrous mode would definitely be impossible for people that don't have access to the Elementalist class, which I think is not very fair. But anyways, I think this event deserves a 5.5 out of 10 for the creativity, but the difficulty definitely bumps that down from a 6. So it's a 5.5 out of 10. And with that, all of the games in the Takeover event are 100% complete. 伺服器有 3D Crew 所有。And the nominees for the hardest quest in the Takeover are... Murders vs. Sheriff's Duels. Superstar Racers. Untitled Boxing Game. Something evil will happen. And the winner is Superstar Racers.